Hello, everybody, and welcome to RMP's Virtual Accountancy Day 2 with PwC on the stage right now. So welcome to our talk. So my name is Carl, and I'm going to be with you for this afternoon. So as you can see, today's session is going to be very much around who are we, who are PwC. So I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction to that. I'm going to try and give you some of my highlights from PwC as well. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the student recruitment process so you know what to kind of expect. And of course, as a result, I will throw in some top tips as well, hopefully exclusive ones that you may not have heard before, if I can as well. At the end of the session, we're going to do some Q&A as well. So absolutely a right opportunity to ask all of your recruitment-based questions as we go into that part of the session. So thanks so much for joining and welcome. It's lovely to meet you all. So, as I very briefly introduced, as it suggests, I hope my name comes up on the screen, but my name is Carl. I'm a Talent Engagement Senior Associate at PwC. I've worked here for 1 year and 1 day now, so I should have updated that really. As of yesterday, the 7th of October was my work anniversary, so I'd been at PwC for a year. And my role at PwC is to support and recruit undergraduates, graduates, and school leavers into the world of PwC. So that's ultimately what I do. I also try and build meaningful engagement with everybody. So, i.e., right now, trying to get you to ask questions, get involved with us, and hear more about what we do at PwC. If I was to describe if I was to describe PwC in one word, it would be collaborative, because everything we do at PwC is teamwork orientated. So we work in teams, we sit in teams, even now in a virtual world, in a new virtual working world. We sit, and work collaboratively on pitches, on documents, on data, on models and things like that, depending on what we're doing on that day. And absolutely the same for how we work with all of our clients. We interact with them daily in the virtual world as a collaborative effort. Whether that is where permitted, we can go to clients, but also through Google Hangouts and doing video calls and Zoom and things like this as well. So something that you'll all be very used to with the kind of like the craze of house party at the very beginning of lockdown, which we all engaged in doing quizzes and things like that throughout the week, which is good fun. A little bit of a bonus fact, actually during lockdown I cycled 180 kilometers on my own, so solo. So I had my little bag, my little rucksack, and my little like frame bag on my bike. Cycled 180 kilometers, which is about 112 miles. From my home in Oxfordshire through to the office in Birmingham and back home. Everybody said I was mad, and my legs felt that way afterwards, but it was really, really good experience for me to do some fundraising at PwC as well. And a lot of us are doing fundraising efforts like that, so something that you can get involved with at PwC, whether that be solo like I did or working as a team. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more around who are PwC, what on earth do we do. So PwC's purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. Now, of course, at the moment, everybody's important problems are completely different, and that makes it even more exciting to work in an organisation like PwC at the moment. We work with a variety of clients, from all ranging, big, small, medium-sized startups, entrepreneurs, innovators, so many different people. So you can imagine the kind of questions that we receive daily from our clients are all very varied. And that means that at PwC, we are specialists in what we do in terms of providing advice. We don't manufacture a particular product, like a tangible thing. We provide advice, and we sell our specialisms and our advice, and that's how we solve problems. You can see on the right-hand side here, something very useful for the recruitment process as well, is to understand a bit more around our PwC values. So we have acting with integrity, being honest, speaking up, communicating information, all those kind of things, making a difference. So my example there of doing a charity bike ride was a little bit of my value there, demonstrating make a difference. I wanted to do a bit of fundraising, thought what were my skills? I can ride a bike, hopefully I can go that far, and luckily I made it in just over 8 hours, which is obviously a really long time, but really, really good. Really good experience for me. Also care, that kind of links in nicely there with that topic as well. So care being, we look after each other, we look after the people around us. We also, like I said, look after each other from a well-being perspective, like we've been doing this whole time, through lockdown as well. We work together. Importantly, we work together. Like I said, it's collaborative. We work in teams all the time. And yeah, we work together a lot, basically, which is something that's really exciting for us. We also reimagine the possible. So think about all the things that you do day to day, and we are now reimagining what those look like. So think of the day-to-day activities that I might do as a recruiter, and how can I create bots, or how can I embrace technology more and make it better for everyone around us. So similar to what we're doing today in a virtual event, it's exactly what we're doing by reimagining the possible. What do we do? I talked a little bit about, we provide lots of industry focused services for public and private clients. So we work with a whole variety of clients, like I've already kind of talked about a little bit. So we work with big companies, we might work with football clubs, we work with banks, huge organizations, and it's fascinating to see. And you get great insight to the world of these organizations and how they work together, and how they started, what goes on behind the closed doors. I've always been fascinated. The absolute volume of money involved in football clubs makes it really interesting to kind of to hear from these people and go meet these clients. And on the screen here you'll see these are some of the areas of PwC. We have audit, which is one of our biggest areas. Every business has to have an audit above a certain size. So, you see lots of auditors, and it's a great place to learn from the ground up, where we develop the skills as an accountant to be able to produce a true and fair representation of that business, and provide advice to stakeholders as well in the making. We also do a lot of consulting. So we talk about solving important problems. That could be supermarkets wanting to branch out into clothing lines. It could be supermarkets having McDonald's put in them. So you may have seen that. There's an Asda in Nuneaton, which I sometimes go through on the train, and it has a McDonald's in it. Where did that partnership come from? That would have been a consulting and a deals related problem there. How could we take advantage of hungry customers as they come through the door? We all know going shopping hungry is probably one of the worst things you can do. You buy lots of things. That's exactly how to solve something like that. We do tax, so providing tax advice to our clients as well. Risk assurance, which links very heavily to technology. So risks are forever changing, and we see so many different risks at the moment, and it's so difficult to foresee where the different risks are coming from. So I think that's a really, really important one. To think about something if you're interested in, what the future of technology looks like and the risks surrounding that. And deals. Deals is where I very lovingly started my career. Deals is advising clients on mergers, acquisitions, divestment, also the post-deal. So, if a company buys another company, how do they continue to work together? What about the finances? How does that all work? So financial modelling is involved in deals as well, just as much as it is in our analytics teams as well. We also have we call it our emerging technologies as well. So we have people that are always on the lookout for new technologies. We did our first audit by drone in 2018, so pretty cool. So we can continue to do things like that, use VR, use augmented reality, all those kind of things as well. That's some of our business areas. So who are our clients? I've already kind of talked a little bit about this one, but we have 85% of the Fortune 500. If any of you were in the booth with us around an hour or so ago, we had Sandeep, who's a director in audit, was talking about one of the things that sets us apart from other kind of big four or other accounting firms, and it is just the kind of iconic clients that we have. I can't go through and name lots of them for so many different reasons, but if you think about it, if you find out more from coming into our booth and hearing some of the companies we work with, you'll see that it's just absolutely the brand of some of these organizations. We work with one media company, for example. I'm trying to think of a big one, media company that produces magical experiences or magical moments, who recently released a streaming service back in March or February, to give you a bit of a clue of who that might be. But in the past year, we've worked with, served 200,000 clients, including more than 100,000 entrepreneurs and private businesses as well. So really big in terms of who we work with, as an organisation. Our clients range from multinational companies, which we talked about, small startups, charities, university hospitals, trusts, and private individuals as well. So that's a really exciting one if you end up working with a high net worth individual. One of our values I talked about, acting with integrity. What does it mean? Speaking up for what is right, especially when it feels difficult. Like I said, it's around communicating information actually correctly, being guided by our PwC professional framework, the ethics that are behind that as well, to ensure that we deliver the best experience for our clients, and the best experience for our people as well. So if you join PwC, you're part of our family, and we want to make sure that you're not in a position where you feel like you have to have your ethics questioned, but you can have great ethical discussions internally around how to interact with clients and things like that. Talked a little bit about this already from what I was just saying. How do we demonstrate these things? And again, if you're in our booth, Sandeep, the director in audit, just mentioned, if you wanted to ask a really good interview question at the end of it, you could talk a little bit around, how does PwC like this demonstrate integrity, or how does PwC support climate change? What are our firm views on those things? They're great interview questions to ask at the end to help you get a bit more insight into the organisation you're applying to. But this one, so how do PwC demonstrate integrity? We've talked a little bit about this. We've got, in the empowerment to speak up, talked about that already. Collaborating together, using our business judgment. We're trained, accountants by the ICW, if you join as an auditor or in tax or in deals, perhaps. So you can use your business judgment as well as your professional ethics as well to do that. And of course, we never engage in things like bribery or corrupt practices. So it's around how we do our due diligence of screening clients as well. We would never want to work with somebody that would bring down the name of PwC, or where we couldn't help them, basically, as a result of some of the actions that they do. One of the things here, we talk around the future of audit a lot at the moment, and the future of audit, all the technology and risk assurance side of how we do our audits. But technology is absolutely at the heart of what we do, and that is 100%, demonstrating our integrity there by staying up to speed with new technologies and finding ways to embrace them. So as a graduate joining, it's a very exciting time to be joining, to be quite honest. It's a really good opportunity there. To kind of think around what the future of that looks like, and how our roles will change as accountants. Make a difference. I've talked a little bit about this one already, but make a difference to our clients, offering them something unique, bespoke, offering them something new, something that they've never had before, offering them our ears to listen, making that difference, actively listening, building rapport with our clients and the people we work with, making a difference to everybody. On an audit, it's not just working closely with a CFO or a CEO or the CIO or whoever that might be, the C-level execs on the board. Absolutely, you might engage with them and you'll learn a lot from them, and I think that's quite an exciting part of the role. But also making differences to the people on the floor, the shop floor, as I would call it. Throughout university and through my sixth form education, I worked at Waitrose, driving the van, delivering to customers, working, stacking the shelves, auditing the stock, even as a little student, doing those kind of things and making a difference. But you talk to these people that actually do the work, and that's how you learn, and by actively listening to these people. And giving everybody a voice, and I think that really makes a difference. And also just going above and beyond. You might do like volunteering outside of what you normally do. You might mentor students as part of being at PwC, something that you might enjoy. I used to tutor maths, and I used to find it great fun. Throw back to school as well without showing my age. It was great to be able to do those. So demonstrating this, I was kind of talking through that already. But like I said, I did a charity bike ride for the PwC Foundation, and the PwC Foundation do great things. We all vote on our national charities each year. So that's how all of us can actively make a difference, by choosing what these charities look like. So, if you have particular charities close to heart, then you can put these proposals together to help them. By getting our kind of all the people of PwC, the 24,000 of us that work in the UK and the Middle East, and the Channel Islands as well. Get these people involved, get them supporting these charities, and we can do that. We do one firm one day, so each year we aim to, like I said here, collectively volunteer a lot of hours, so 50,000. So all of us get multiple days off a year where we can spend time doing volunteering stuff, but we have one firm one day where actively everybody's encouraged to go and do something charitable, go make a difference, and hopefully that will encourage our people to do that on a more regular basis as well. So of course, virtually that makes it more of a challenge, but I think everybody still managed to do something this year. My contribution was the bike ride. We also the Text You Can Charter. So we also launched the Text You Can Charter in 2017, and we've got I know it's on here, but we do have a lot of kind of signatories joining on the Text You Can Charter, which is empowering females going into technology-based organisations and technology-based roles as well. Just given that there is an underrepresentation there, among other things as well. Care. What does it mean? Make the effort to understand every individual around you. Recognise the value that each person contributes. So we talked a little bit about this and making a difference. Actively listening, lending an ear to your clients and the people at your clients as well, and supporting others to grow and work around their best. So we all talk about our skills at PwC. We all have a career coach and a buddy, and it's a diverse business. So if you wanted to get experience in another line of service, following your graduate program, or potentially you want to take a different route, then people are generally supportive of this. You might have to finish your qualification first if you're studying for that, but people are very supportive. We're a big business and we want people to make the most of that, and it's demonstrating that care to each other as well, and obviously extrapolating that to day-to-day, not just big picture stuff, but day-to-day care as well. So like I said, we have a career coach at PwC, every single person. We all have a buddy as well as a mentor scheme that goes alongside that. So you have all these great pieces of network. And if you join as a graduate or an undergraduate on an internship or placement year, your first network at PwC will be the people around you. But you also have the career coach, your buddy, all the different people. We absolutely embrace the be well, work well. So we're an incredibly flexible organisation. We all care for each other, and we all want each other to succeed. So it just, I'll be frankly very, very open. It's very busy for us in September and October as an organisation, and even myself. I'll be very open. Over the days when it was just very, very stressful, when you talk openly about these things, and as long as you communicate, there was always someone there to help and go, okay, well, we'll mix your workload up a little bit, think about the things that are a priority. And it just helps to be able to do those things, and also have a peer group to be able to do that in. So working together. So importantly, the top one is probably the biggest one for me here, is sharing knowledge. So I said about building skills and developing your skills, but you, as a graduate, you might not have all of the skills yet, and we absolutely don't anticipate you to do so. We want you to come and learn from the experts, and we'll train you to be an expert yourself. And all that is sharing knowledge. So it's helping others when they're in need, and identifying those opportunities. If you want to host a lunch and learn, if you know lots about, let's say, Excel or Access, or, actually you are hosting a presentation like this, and actually you want the opportunity to practice, then people will be there to be able to give you those skills and give you that opportunity to do so. But also we're building teams that are diverse. And what I mean by that is diverse in terms of who we are as people, but also the skills and the subjects that we've studied, and where we are our own subject matter experts as well, and seeking those pieces of advice from everybody. I talked a little bit around the diversity. So you can see on the screen here, some of our networks are listed. So we have our Dawn, which is Disability Awareness Network. We have our faith networks as well, the Multicultural Business Network, Gender Balance, Shine, which is our LGBTQ plus society as well, or network, sorry. So similar, you get the experience of a little bit of these things that you might have experienced at university, and it absolutely carries forward into the working world at PwC as well. Being able to engage with all these great kind of networks and societies and the socials, and they all have objectives. So they're not just there for socials, it is like actual objective driven. You're increasing the representation of transgender people within our business and empowering these people. If you're transgender, do you need a role model, to be able to kind of guide you and mentor you, through some of the challenges that people may face, and same if you were disabled, or represent you fall in another group, or you have an intersection where you feel you're part of multiple groups. That's what we're there to support with. So that's how working together really does highlight, for me anyway, with the networks. Reimagine the possible. Talk this at the start. Be innovative. Be courageous. When it comes to the interview, ask questions. Ask interactive questions that you really want to know the answer to. Don't ask what you think you want to, what we want to hear. Ask the questions that you think are valid, and stand up for what you believe in. We have this a lot where we have great ideas as a team, and sometimes it just takes one person to be like, well, actually, I've experienced something different, and this worked really well. And that's what we do, and it's the perfect time, given that we have to innovate and reimagine. So hopefully you can all join us in PwC's virtual park as well. So do Google or use search engine to find PwC's virtual park and explore PwC with us, in our virtual reality environment. It should be really fun. So that's reimagine the possible. We're challenging what we normally do. Similar here, as a global first, PwC took the first kind of drone, like I mentioned earlier, to do a stock count. So we're embracing technology. Everybody would think this is wild. Why would you need to do that in 2018? But actually, right now is a prime evidence of that we can actually now continue to work in a virtual world as a result of some of the things that we were doing prior to that. So it's being reactive, but also kind of trying to predict the future and being brave as well. And you'll get that opportunity as a graduate at PwC. To really put your stamp on things and speak out. Everybody's very friendly and happy to help, and I think that supports the reimagining the possible. So some of the next steps, before I just talk a little bit more around the selection process, I'm sure there'll be some questions about that as well. So I'm here to answer those just as much as talk a little bit around the highlights of PwC, like I've just done. So definitely check out the Employability Hub for some of the things I've talked about there. So I'm going to talk about the selection process, but the Employability Hub, just to give that a shout out, there are some e-learns there where you can learn a bit more about how the video interviews are going to work, how the games-based assessment works as well. So you can see some of those and get some bonus tips there. Of course, follow us on social media as well, and sign up to our talent network. And sign up for some of our virtual events. So we have like I said, our PwC virtual park. You get to meet lots and lots of people like you've been doing today. So just keep exploring. It's the best way to learn around what a Big Four firm does. It's just networking with so many different people to understand more about their day-to-day, what they enjoy, what they find challenging, maybe what they don't enjoy. And that will really give you insight to what we do. And I think that's a great way to do that. So I'm going to talk about the recruitment process in a second, but do join our talent network and follow us on social media if you're dropping off now, if you just wanted to hear that piece. But I'm going to talk more about the recruitment process in 10 minutes time. We're going to do a bit of Q&A as well. So like I say, we're going to talk about the selection process for 2020 now. So this is what it looks like on your screen at the moment. So these are all the steps. It looks quite short here, only 4 steps, and you can come through this process in a short period of time. You don't have to rush it. You can take a little bit longer if you want to, but as a bit of a rough figure, it can take anywhere from kind of a week to complete the whole process and know whether you've got an offer or not, through to kind of like a month or so, depending on what you apply for and how fast you want to progress yourself through the process. But I'll give you a bit of an inkling to what the timeframes look like as we talk through this as well. So let's start with number 1, the application form. Oh, let's talk about the PwC professional first. I forgot that was going to come up. I will go back to that slide in a second. So throughout those stages that you just saw there, so the application form, the behaviour-based assessment, the video interview, and the assessment centre, these are the skills that we're assessing you against. So there's no secrets here. This is exactly what we're assessing you against. Whole leadership. Not looking for you to have led teams before as such, or being a team leader or a team captain or anything like that in any of your experiences, but can you lead yourself? Can you have the confidence to talk and communicate effectively about the things that you're passionate about? You're not supposed to know all the answers all the time. And I find that even in my role, I want to answer all of your questions all the time, and sometimes you just can't, and you have to find the answer from someone else. And it's that, can you lead others? So you might not be the most creative person in terms of ideas, but you're incredibly influential and good with people, so you can get people to give you their ideas and then build on them as a team. An excellent skill. And also being values driven. We talk about these kind of PwC frameworks that are on the screen now. And those are the things that we're looking for, like I say. So can you demonstrate these things as a leader of a team by getting these ideas out? Business acumen. So demonstrating analytical thinking and understanding how a business works as well. We'll train you to become an expert, like I say, but business acumen kind of develops from you sparking interest in the things you do. So you might have a particular interest in reading. You might buy the Financial Times every week, or The Economist, or something like that. That's a great way to develop business acumen. Log on to BBC News and stuff like that. You'll see all these great stories, But importantly, don't feel like you have to read every single article. Find the things that you're interested in. If you can talk passionately about those, you're going to end up talking about those at the interview, and set yourself up for a really kind of like informal chat at the interview, which will make you feel a lot more comfortable. So think about how you could put some of those into some more traditional interview questions, as well as some of the general talking points you might have throughout that. Technical and digital. So we've got quality. So there's 2 points here: quality and how you actually use technology. So we talked around embracing new things. So house party, Zoom quizzes, all those things I mentioned at the very start. Absolutely, very, very valid. And you can build these skills by using those and embracing new technology. So if you like to code, or you like to give I don't know. I think if you like to, just basically experiment with new things. Like, I've got an Apple Watch that's not that new anymore, but just having all these things and finding the power of these things is massively important. And that's how you engage in digital work. But then the quality side of it as well. So do you know the rules and regulations around how you use them, and stay up to date with those things? That's what you'll learn at PwC and be able to demonstrate those. Global inclusive doesn't mean you have to have gone on lots of holidays or visited around the world. What we're talking about there is basically just understanding cultural curiosity, understanding and accepting the diversity of others is massively important to us. And that's exactly what we mean by global there. So you don't have to have gone and experienced these, but being global is being inclusive, bringing everybody together there, and ultimately leveraging the power of the network. So like I said, you don't have to physically have been global or gone global. How can you network with people around the world? And if you join PwC, you can do those things. We're network based all around the world. A few weeks ago we had a call with some of our colleagues in America. Great fun talking to them, seeing their experiences as well, and really interesting. And relationships. Can you communicate with impact? So the best thing at the assessment centre and through the process is, of course, not talking very monotone or without much passion, like I'm trying to replicate right now. But I'm very naturally enthusiastic. But it's actually, you don't have to be super smiley and stuff like that. But just how do you bring people together? You can talk in that kind of tone, but just spark interest in what you do, and spark interest in what others do as well, to build that, and be passionate about working with people. The application form, nothing designed to trip you up here at all. It literally is a form to fill in. It has to be done, unfortunately. It's not the most exciting, but fill in your personal details. Where did you study? What did you study? Your any extenuating circumstances. So if not on track for a 2-1, or any extenuating circumstances with your A levels, things like that, then your chance to put that forward there and let us know. Any adjustments, this is the time to tell us about adjustments. You can tell us about adjustments all the way through the process, so don't feel like you can't. But one opportunity to do that is in the application form as well. So if you need any additional support for anything with the application process as a whole, then we can do that for you. And equal opportunity as well. So we want to know a little bit about your diversity and your background, which is standard from every application form you probably fill in. And again, that can be anonymous, so you can anonymize that if you didn't want to share. That is completely down to you. So I'm not going to log into Slido, but just on the question on the screen here, looking at the stage chat, has anybody done games-based or a behavioural-based assessment before? I know there's a little bit of a delay between me speaking and you hearing. Brilliant. So Melody, Fatima, yes, you have. That's good. And Amy, yes. Irva, yes. Ikra, yes. Brilliant. Really, really great to hear. You guys, and a no as well. And a no, Zufei as well. No. So good. It's a bit of a mixture actually. So good that some of you got some experience, but we'll talk a little bit around what that kind of looks like and what a game-based assessment is. It's nothing to be afraid of. Did a video here. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to talk about it a little bit instead. So it's nothing to be afraid of, but a games-based assessment is an opportunity to be tested against like the psychometric traits that you have. This thing maps like 12,000 data points when you're working with this, and you get a little bit of a customized report at the end. which talks through, what your skills and what you're like as a person. So are you more likely to take risks, or are you more likely to stick with information or are you quite, emotionally, can you recognize emotion of other people? So that's emotional intelligence, or EQ, or like IQ being your intelligence as well. It's a measure of those kind of things, and it's great that you get this really, really great report. It's an opportunity for us to see whether we think you'd fit in our service line. So you can't prepare for this. So don't put yourself through lots of kind of pressure to practice a games-based assessment. But you can find on Arctic Shores, there is a demo app. It's either called Trial App or Demo App, but it's Arctic Shores Demo App. You can find it on iOS, Apple Store. You can find it on Google Play. You can find it on the desktop on your PC as well. So have a look for those things on there. But believe it or not, also as well, if you are a gamer, I'm sorry to say that you actually don't have an advantage on these. There's no way to really play these things, and you can't see the behavior that we're testing at any one given time. Believe me, I've had a go at these and I cannot tell. But it does give a lot of data in terms of how you react to situations, like I've talked about a little bit already. The top tips: read the instructions very, very carefully. That will be a bit of a hint of what you need to do in the activity, and just make sure that you've read that carefully there and understood the objective of what you need to do. Be relaxed. It tells you to take breaks throughout. So like me, I've got my cup of coffee here. Take it as it comes, and prepare yourself for it in that way. Get a drink, get a bit of paper next to you so you can make any notes if you need to. Have a cup of tea, a coffee, or a water, or whatever near you, and be relaxed. Go with your instincts. Go with your gut feeling. Don't change answers as a result of reading into it a bit more, unless you've misinterpreted the instructions at the start. Then go with your instincts. That's the best way to be. And don't change things around. And just make sure that you're in a place where you can do that. So right now I'm with my study at home. It's very quiet. Perfect for doing presentation or a games-based assessment. But also, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to leave this one for the Q&A, but I was also going to ask you around like some of the words that you feel about video interviews. So do type some of these in the chat, and I'll pick them up when we move into the Q&A in just a second as well. So how do you feel about video interviews? What does it make you feel when you hear the word video interview? And this is called our career conversation. We're going to ask you why PwC. We're going to give you some scenario-based questions. So put yourself in the shoes of someone already at PwC, an auditor or a consultant. And then we're also going to do like a mini case study with you as well. But have a think about why PwC, the motivations, why, what you've applied for, and the program that you've applied for as well. What kind of things would you be doing over the graduate scheme? Research the employer, make a positive first impression. So be enthusiastic, spark energy, with that. Practice a little bit of some of the questions. One of the biggest things for me, it's weird to listen to your own voice, but I've always found recording, me actually speaking into my phone, an interview question, listening to it back. Actually, would I hire that person if I spoke like that? And if it's a yes, then brilliant. That's that option to go for. Choose the comfortable environment. Check the technology work, similar to what I would have done before this session as well. Just make sure I know how to use the technology, and of course, let PwC know in support. And the final one before we move into quick Q&A, our career focus day is our virtual assessment day. Throughout the day, you'll get, before the day, let's start with that, it helps, doesn't it? You'll get a connect call from one of our recruiters, and they'll talk you through what to expect from the day, give you some tips, opportunity for you to ask questions, and everybody gets this, so it's fair that everybody gets a chance to do that. We'll be doing it over Google Hangouts, so in a video call, similar to how this is going to work, how this is working right now. We do it in a video call, and you'll be doing a bit of a group activity. You'll be doing a bit of an analysis, kind of report writing activity, a bit more of an individual kind of reading and reporting, as well as, like I mentioned, a group activity where you're actually discussing some of the things that you've been working on, and also you'll do what we call career conversation. So you'll have another interview on the day as well, to give us a bit of insight into why you're applying for what you're applying for. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got our PwC Employability Hub. Do check it out. It's a great little resource. You can do e-learns on there and all the things I talked about. So games-based assessment, a few people say yes, a few people say no, of whether they've experienced that. You can have a look at what to kind of expect from those on the Employability Hub. And I definitely recommend you have a look at that. And same for video interviews and the assessment centre as well. The next steps: check the Employability Hub out. Like I can't stress that enough. Follow us on social media. We share lots of our updates. So if you're thinking about when things open or more questions, you can get them in on social media as well. And like I mentioned earlier, sign up to some of our virtual events, so the PwC Virtual Park, and join us on the Talent Network as well, so you can receive updates on the roles that you're most interested in. Well, thank you so much for listening to me. And I believe we're gonna open up the floor for questions now. So I can already see Sebastian's asked one, but I will let some more of you get some questions in now. This is your opportunity. Hey, Nisha.
Hi. Background noise.
Oh no. Well, Nisha's gone. Bless her. She was having a lot of background noise there. No worries at all. I'm sure Nisha will reappear in just a second. In the meantime, I'm just going to just look at Sebastian's question here and Poppy's question as well, just while we wait for Nisha to rejoin, to be able to ask some of the other questions you've been submitting. So Sebastian has asked if internships cost at all, and the answer to that is no. So we will pay you for your internship. So whether you did a first year program or second year program, like a Women in Business or our black talent in business as well, you know, you're paid for those days. Those are short term experiences, so 3 days, and you're paid for those days. If you did a summer internship or an undergraduate work placement, you would also be paid for those, and they're very competitive salaries. So you know, if you're joining us for the whole year, you know, and you fancied, you know, moving away or moving to London or somewhere like that, you know, absolutely an option. You know, you can go to the, you know, paying rent and all those kind of things, looking after yourself. You know, you'll be able to do those things, but it's up to you on how you do that. But ultimately, yes, the internships don't cost. We pay you, so ultimately you're going to be earning stuff. Poppy's also asked whether you can apply for more than one graduate program. The answer to that is no, unfortunately. You can reapply after 6 months after the first application that you make. So do have a research beforehand. You know, what area of the business would you like to join? If the role's not open just yet, do watch out for it, because over the next kind of 4 weeks or so, some more vacancies will appear as well, including more work placements if anyone is looking to do a placement year, and other kind of graduate roles as well. But unfortunately, no, just one application every 6 months is what you can do. So let's have a look. What else have we got here? Let's see. So Dahabo, so apologies if I'm saying your name incorrectly, but hopefully I am, has asked, hi Carl, what is the best way to prepare for the scenario questions in the video interview? Okay, so the scenario-based questions are going to be kind of like scenarios, like I said, putting yourself in the shoes of someone at PwC. So it will be, think about what we do as a business. You know, we, like I talked earlier, we support and talk to clients a lot. So we're not going to focus on a particular line of service. We're going to be thinking of you working broadly with clients. So what is a client to us? It's a person. You know, it's an organization, it's a team, it's a group of people or a person. So we're going to be working there, perhaps how we work with other people. To think about, you know, the things that you do at the moment. If you're studying at the moment, you might be doing group activities throughout your degree. And how you work with other people. I talked about whole leadership earlier, how you get ideas out of other people. You might be volunteering, you might be mentoring, so that's working with other people, getting the best out of others, and communicating ultimately. You might be a journalist, you might blog, or you might vlog. Then 100%, you know, that could be a really great, you know, way to think about it and go, well, actually, how do I do that? How do I vlog? How do I communicate? And use some of those skills in that scenario as well. So if you're asked a scenario, how do you communicate with someone, for example, you can talk a little bit about that as well. So those would be my top tips for preparing for the scenario question in the video interview stage. Yeah. Let's have a look and see what else have we got here. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back up. Apologies. Let me go back up here so I can find the next question. So SA, ooh, a mysterious initials. Question for Carl. What advice would you give for current university students on how to make the most out of their remaining years at uni and use this time best to prepare for the world of work? Great question, S. I think that's a really good question. So I think some of the advice that I would give you, obviously it's virtual this year, but still make sure that you're engaging with societies and networks on campus. You know, you're maybe not playing team sports at the moment, and that's fine if that was something you used to do. But, you know, you're still kind of engaging in socials and events. You know, some of the things that we love to get involved with at uni was like the negotiation competitions that the Law Society would run. You know, even I was a chemistry student and I was like, well, I would like to take part in that because it sounds great fun. You know, and you learn loads of new skills by doing that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't really know anything about negotiation or even discussion or communication really, other than making videos beforehand. But even that then, you know, like I said, making videos, making blogs, doing that kind of stuff, do a day in the life of you for prospective students and support new students that may be joining your university. I think that would be really cool. Way to get the most out of it. But in terms of preparing for the world of work, everything that you're doing, you know, the university helps to prepare you as well. So engage in the careers activities, some of the things that they'll be doing, mock assessment centre, stuff like that will definitely help. But just enjoy it, you know, work hard in the sense of, you know, spark passion in what you do and enjoy it, because you will ultimately succeed if you do that. And I think that's really important, and that will definitely prepare you for the world of work, because you'll be naturally curious about the things that you're doing, and that will help you, you know, power up, you know, your skill set and prepare you for the world of work. But make the most of it in the sense of, yeah, have fun with friends, go out with friends where possible, where we can, you know, all those kind of things, and get involved with the societies, because, you know, having a big network of people will support you. You know, internally we have our networks, and if you join PwC you'll have that. But externally as well, it's really important to have, you know, your external networks as well. I remember asking some friends when I graduated, other graduates at other businesses, going, "Oh gosh, have you ever found this before? You know, how do you do this? Or what on earth is a pivot table in Excel?" Or, you know, those kind of things. You know, and sometimes it's easier to ask your external network just to get a second opinion, or even just go to them to start. Ishani's asked, when do placements open? Some are open at the moment. I know that the Aberdeen audit placement is open, and at the moment the other placements are going to open, and sorry, some marketing and student recruitment placements as well. But there's going to be more opening over the next 4 weeks, so just keep a lookout for them. Ishani is the best advice I can give you there. There will be more. You know, we definitely want placement students next year, and they'll be launching soon. We've just not had an opportunity to get them live just yet, so keep an eye out for them. Pripal, you've asked, how many opportunities have you released for third-year placement? Oh, that links very closely to what we were just saying. So I'll go back to what I was just saying when I was answering Shani's question there. So they're going to be opening soon. So at the moment, there's just a few on there. I think it's about 10. But, you know, we'll see a lot more than that open very soon. And hi, Nisha, you're back.
Hi, I'm back. I'm so sorry about that. Some technical issues, but no, thank you for answering those questions, and thank you for sharing your really insightful presentation. It's really good. And first, before I go into a few more quick questions, I just want to say, well done for cycling. Was it 180 kilometres?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my legs did not forgive me at the end of it. I came back, and all I wanted to do was have a barbecue and eat lots of really, really, you know, dirty food, basically. Yeah. And I couldn't.
Yeah. Have you got anything that you're doing next time? Have you got any other?
I enter the ballot for the London Marathon every year, so maybe 1 year I'll get that. I'm not a runner really. Like, I enjoy it. I don't do very much of it, but this year I thought, because I did the charity stuff, I've entered the ballot for a couple of charities as well. So you do a little application form and stuff like that, and I'm going to be relying on everybody. So whether you're joining PwC in the next 6 months, then I'll be asking you for some donation or support to help me get some donations.
Brilliant. No, it's excellent stuff. So just got a few questions. I know the questions have been coming in. So one is on, you mentioned like some really strong core values that PwC has. What do you think sets you out from aside from other firms?
Ooh. Yeah, I knew this question would come up, and I had a feeling it would, and I can't prepare an answer because it doesn't make sense. I think one of the biggest things for me is that, you know, I've not worked at all of the other big four, so I think from the first thing to say would be, you know, without kind of like working at the others or meeting people from the others, you know, you really need to find where you fit best. So go meet people, go to our booth, go to the other booths, and find out who, you know, who kind of resonates with you as a person and the values of the business as well. We talk a lot about the PwC framework and the values, and they do drive us internally. We're moderated against these, you know, throughout the year in terms of like what your appraisal looks like. So if you're demonstrating them, then great. And hopefully you'd be already bought into them by applying to us and reading it. And actually, that makes a lot of sense. And hopefully the things were said. So definitely the values. I have worked at KPMG as well. So so I have a bit of experience of what that looks like. And it was a great place to work ultimately, just like PwC. Some of the things I've noticed about PwC, I mentioned in the booth earlier, we were talking around some of the iconic clients that we have. And that's probably one of the biggest things that sets us apart, is that we have the most iconic list of clients at all of the big four, and something very exciting for us. You know, and you'll learn so much about all of these brilliant businesses and clients and high net worth individuals as well, engaging with us at PwC. But flexibility, you know, I talked around how we use technology. We were using technology, you know, way before lockdown in terms of how we, you know, do things we do at PwC. And I see that every day. You know, I don't need to be in the office every single day. You know, I can manage my own diary. You know, even when as a graduate, I talk to the grads. You know, I started as a grad as well. You know, and you know, you manage your own diary, you manage the flexibility, you manage the people.
Yeah,
You're encouraged to talk to stakeholders. Those are the things that make PwC for me. And I think the flexibility really and the technology side of things really steps us apart. Like, I don't think the others have done it, but all of us have done digital academies training, which is all about empowering data and visualization, and that's everybody across the firm. So no matter where you work, are now kind of being encouraged to build bots to do things. So it's great fun.
Oh, brilliant. And then another thing, I think a lot of students are looking at, you know, application process and what they can do to stand out. So have you got any advice on that? And have you got any advice on, you know, what you see on applications that you'd advise against too?
Okay, great question. Yeah, great question. So I think I'll start with the positives. That's quite a more nicer one to talk about. So the positives is just, you know, really making sure that you've understood what you've applied for. So being able to kind of recall a little bit of what to expect maybe on a day-to-day basis. You know, the length of the program and what kind of would you expect to have achieved by the end of the program, because these are the kind of questions that are going to come up in the interview process, and you know, we'll kind of halt you a little bit if you don't you know, don't think about those things, because we're going to naturally ask you. We want to make sure that you're curious. We want to make sure that you're passionate about what you want to do. And just on that as well, you don't have to know everything. But, you know, we don't expect you to be able to recall a 9 till 5 or, you know, a whole day of work. It's very much just we want to see, you know what to kind of expect, and ultimately that you're going to drive yourself to take ownership of your development, because PwC gives you so much to develop. So that's definitely one that I'd say is a really good one. You know, in terms of your degrees, I mentioned this at the very start, you know, you could have studied anything. So don't feel the pressure, like you can't apply for something because you've not studied a certain degree. You know, like I said, I did a chemistry degree and started in deals. No link really whatsoever from a relevance perspective, other than, you know, I did data modeling in my degree and do a bit of that, you know, in my first job as well. Stuff to watch out for, or things I'd say are negatives, or things to avoid. Quoting others' values. Okay. It's complicated out there, but definitely it's not meant to trip you up. Absolutely not. But definitely, you know, make sure you know the kind of values of the business that you're attending. Why do you want to work for PwC specifically? So look for some news articles, understand a bit about what PwC are doing, and ultimately you're welcome to challenge those things in an interview. So, you know, so I've read this story and I would have understood it differently. You know, I'm sure the person interviewing will be like, yeah, tell me more, because it's, you know, it's fascinating for us to see that, and that's what we, you know, challenge, what we want to see people doing. Other things, Just in the way that you handle yourself in a virtual environment. I mentioned around it's going to be a video interview and it's going to be a virtual assessment centre. So just, I know I do it sometimes and I'm looking at my other screen and stuff like that as well. But just making sure that for most of the time, you're concentrating, you're paying attention, you're looking at the camera or you're looking visibly at the screen in front of you. So the person on the other end knows that you're listening and taking on board what they're saying. Nodding along, if you're on mute and stuff like that. Just that digital etiquette is really important. So don't find yourself kind of like swinging on your chair, looking over here, and all that kind of stuff. I'd say to avoid that. Yeah.
Oh no, that's some great hints and tips there for the students. So I've just got one last question before we end today, and that is, it's a question for you. What is your favourite thing about working at PwC?
Oh, brilliant. There's so much. Oh, gosh, there really, really is. Okay, so for me, I talked a lot about development and being empowered and stuff like that. I think that is huge at PwC. Like, we're given time to really go take advantage of the skills that we're trying to develop. We use something called Talent Link, which is basically how you get resourced out to clients and things like that. And on there, you can specify the skills that you're looking to develop. So it doesn't have to be the skills that you have. Like, it absolutely does not. It can be the things you want to develop. And resources and the team around you, your career coach, the people around you, will find those opportunities for you, and they will embrace them. I always thought, I've changed job a few times, over my career so far, and you move around businesses, and it's always really scary the first time you do that. And it's like, it's a secret. I don't want to tell anyone I'm going for an interview or doing this or going to another team within the same, organisation you work in. You don't get any of that. PwC, I love data and analytics and stuff like that, and I do a role that includes a lot of that now. And if I want to do more of that, and the people around me are ultimately supportive, and that goes for everybody. Nobody is ever going to be like, no, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be aspiring to that or whatever. That's not the case. So my favorite thing has been empowered to develop your skills and learn more and continue to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly does seem like a great place, a great company to work for. I think that concludes it. Also, thank you so much for your presentation and answering those questions. And if you've got the audience out there, if you've got any questions, please go back to the PwC booth, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer them. And I wish you all a lovely rest of the afternoon. So thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thanks, Nisha.
Thank you. Bye.